Field comes back to the start line, and we are back underway here at Daytona International Speedway.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Look at that one of Johnny Benson. He's got to run on the outside.
Yeah, I'm going to want to get on the outside or get around that 16 as quick as I can. His tires aren't new, Phil, so he's going to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, he stopped on lap number 7, put tires on, but this most recent caution only put fuel on.
So Johnny Benson ought to make his way around the 16. It just doesn't have the speed with those worn tires.
NASCAR reviewed the tapes, and the 17 of Timothy Peters and the 51 of Kyle Busch were determined not to have been speeding up pit road. They did not have to go to the tail end of the longest line, but the 81 of Taylor Malsom did.
They gave them their places back as they had come off of pit road. And again, we are too wide all the way around this racetrack.
6 is up top. He's going to turn.
See Colin Brown on the outside there, has Ron Hornaday, the 33 truck, right behind him.
Remember when the race started, his truck was jumping all over the place, and the gear wasn't it jumping out of gear?
Jumping out of gear. He had to hold it in gear, and he's running on the outside right now, second row back.
Johnny Benson, Colin Brown battling it out.
Look at those trucks dancing around, Rick.
That's why the track gets so narrow, Phil. You take a truck as wide as it is and turn it sideways, you run out of room in a hurry.
Brian Scott found that out early in the race on lap number 6.
And there he is racing up in the top 5 despite a super speedway spin in the middle of traffic. He was able to recover from that. Todd Bodine recovering from his penalty right here, riding in the lead pack.
Double A.
And that cycle of pit stops, Michael, very good for Todd Bodine. He was running in the 24th position when the caution came out. When he exited the pit lane, 14th, and he looks very good on track right now. Another guy who's going to have to battle back from adversity tonight is the 81 truck. You guys talked about the fact that he was penalized for speeding down pit road. The reason, he missed his pit stall. That happened at lap 33. He came in at lap 34 and got fuel. Back at lap 35 for tires, and they said, hey, we're back there deep in the field. So they came at lap 36 and topped it off with fuel. An event for night for rookie Taylor Malsom, Ray.
A similar situation for Kyle Busch. He's back in 23rd, but guys, he's very angry about that non-call on the speeding penalty. He sat back there just messing around with the truck. He said, if I'd have known we didn't have the speeding penalty, I'd have gone back off pit road and we'd have been up in 10th or 11th. So a little bit of an adjustment from NASCAR, but I have a feeling it won't take Kyle Busch too terribly long to make up the difference.
Ooh, these guys are getting crazy.
They were 3 wide right at the start-finish line, really close.
Johnny Sauter made a move to the outside, and I know he was thinking, come on, Johnny Benson, go with me.
11 outside.
Drove to the outside, and Johnny just sits still, but now he's got help on that outside lane.
2 trucks worked their way to about a 3-truck lead over the rest of the pack, and now that pack is reeling them right back in.
Yeah, that lead won't last for long. Colin Brown right now. Look at Hornaday, switches around, looks to the inside.
Man, these guys are getting with it. It happens so quick and so easy, Phil. We see how these trucks bounce around and move around. You've got to give yourself a little bit of margin for error. Not necessarily what your truck's going to do, but what that guy beside you might do.
You got to give your competitor a little bit of a margin for error. They trust these guys out here. They trust each other, but you have to give them a little extra room because they know that their truck's jumping around. There's nothing to think that the other guy's trucks aren't jumping around.
Johnny Sauter said, see, Johnny Benson, I told you should come with me. I'm going to the front. Those guys are on the outside and taking the lead.
Johnny Sauter trying to lead a lap here at Daytona. Right behind him, Johnny Benson, and then his teammate, the 11 of TJ Bell.
You got to like old TJ Bell. He always winds up toward the front no matter where we are, Rick. Had a great end to his 2008 season. Now I talked to TJ, and he was so excited about getting in this Toyota and having a chance to go to Daytona and maybe win a race. And he's right there in the thick of the battle.
4 trucks lining up at the front, down on the bottom now. Johnny Sauter leading this pack around, but for how long? Look, Johnny Benson says, wait a second, I want to maybe take the point for a while.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter said, Johnny, I really like this lead. I'm going to force you up high a little bit.
And when he forced Johnny up, Johnny lost his momentum.
You're going to have to clarify. When Johnny forced Johnny wherever.
There's like a bunch of Johnnies out there.
I knew exactly what I meant, Rick. He lost a little bit of momentum, and Johnny Sauter was able to maintain the lead.
Ron Hornaday continues to follow that Conway Ford of Colin Brown. The thing is jumping around.
Bouncing all over.
Like, I drive those things. That makes me nervous. I don't know. If you're watching at home, that's not a given that he's going to make it around the track ever.
Oh, Kyle Busch was going to go around the outside of Todd Bodine. Todd moved up the hill.
Said, no, you're not. Looked a whole lot like what Kyle Busch did to Mark Martin yesterday on speed to win that Gatorade 150 race.
Jason White right now, the gunbroker.com. Dodge is stuck in the middle. Got Terry Cook to 25 on the inside. Kyle's going around him on the outside.
Kyle Busch working his way back up to the front after sitting on pit road, thinking he had sped on pit road and was going to be assessed a penalty, but then they took it away. So now Kyle Busch has got to work his way through this field, and he's doing a pretty impressive job of it.
Johnny Sauter's able to hold these guys off and lead this race. That's an impressive run for that guy.
Adam Alexander.
And you guys talk about Johnny Sauter at the front of the field. Under that last caution, he and his teammate Matt Crafton talked to one another on the radio, and the plan was for Sauter to push Crafton to the front of the field. Well, Sauter didn't wait for his teammate, and he got there, and now he's going to be cycled out of the lead. Ron Hornaday, the new man in front. Meanwhile, Johnny Benson was getting some teammate help. He had right behind him TJ Bell, and now they're really getting loose on the racetrack down to Ray Dunlap.
And Hornaday has gotten to the lead with his Longhorn Chevrolet, and the good news is old Ron's got both hands back on the steering wheel. The crew jumped in through the window and added a bungee cord to help hold that truck into third or fourth gear whenever he gets going. The bungee cord has it held in there, so Hornaday has both hands back to the wheel.
I can't watch.
They are bouncing all over the racetrack, running 2 and 3 wide. Adam.
And you remember early in this race when Matt Crafton said, they're too antsy for me? Well, Crafton is slid back once again. He does not want to be in the middle of the problem. Now, the big thing here, don't lose the draft. But I think Crafton knows we're not even to the halfway point. He's got plenty of time to sit back and wait.
Take a look at this on the right side. That bright yellow truck on the inside line is going to get swallowed up right in the middle.
Yeah, he's going to just drop back in the middle now. Right now he said, oh man, these guys are going by me on both sides, and I think he said, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to lay back here again. I've already done it one time this race. I'm going to do it again.
You know, we talk about these trucks bouncing around, and how that happens, Rick, is a guy will go out and he'll run, and they'll say, how's the truck? And he'll say, it bounces around a lot, but man, it's fast. And that's all you want to know as a driver. Man, it's fast, and I'll deal with it bouncing around. And so that's why you see these trucks driving like they are, because man, it's fast.
I was talking to Rick Crawford right before the drivers meeting. I said, Rick, how's your truck? He said, man, it's really fast. He said, but I had to slow it down some. He said it was really fast, but if I can't drive this thing all night, it's not going to do me any good.